Welcome to Fulham Fix. Very exciting episode this week. Only one thing we could really do this week after the incredible performance from our women's team on the weekend, which crowned them champions with 2 games to go. So we had to talk all things Fulham Women, I think.
How was it this week?
Unbelievable game. Honestly, again, just coming off the back of 2 6-0 wins. They come here to the Cottage. Again, great atmosphere. They play such lovely football. And go and win so comfortably 3-0. It could have been 4, 5, 6. Honestly, it was such a comfortable performance. And then we'll talk obviously a lot about it. In our interview with our players and stuff. But Norwich, who have gone toe to toe with them all season, who have been this between them. That's who we've been sort of sparring with. First and second, weren't expected to lose, and so I don't think anyone was really expecting for them to be crowned champions.
Yeah, not least you.
Not least me, yeah. And,
so did you not have any spiel as the announcer of the game?
Not straight away, no. They were that sure that Norwich were going to do the business against Chatham Town that it was only in the second half when they thought, oh, okay, we might actually be crowned champions now. They started sending stuff like, this is what we're going to do, we'll get this up on the screens, and it was really exciting to be part of. And,
I bet, yeah.
Yeah, just awesome to see the spontaneous celebrations at full time as well.
So Becky Stormer's on, Stella Gandee Morgan's on, and Steve Jaye, the manager, are going to be on very soon. But before we get to that, we've been mentioning a few times in the quick fixes and with Brian McBride last week. Thank you, by the way, to everyone that's listened and watched that. That's fantastic. Fulham legend, all-time legend. But we've been asking for your Fulham stories. So the email address for that is fulhamfix@fulhamfc.com. You're welcome to put in at any time. Ivan, I've got an amazing one.
Okay.
From Dave McLaughlin.
Okay.
So if we can just get this out of the way now.
Sure.
Because I feel like this is going to spurn, because as people know, like after games at Craven Cottage, the players quite often are waiting outside.
Yeah.
Which is quite a psychedelic experience because we've been lucky enough to have big name Fulham players, like superheroes to kids.
Yeah.
So you do often see it when you're leaving late from the game.
Yeah.
Kids meeting players and it just being this like once in a lifetime thing for the children, you know what I mean? So that happens a lot anyway. So I've had that in my mind. But Dave's written in with a story about Alex Iwobi or Alex Iwobi's family.
Okay.
So I don't think you know this story.
No.
So I'm going to read, you're going to do a real time
reaction, live reaction
to this story.
All right.
Hi, Felix and Ivan. Just wanted to write about the maddest encounter I've had since the last series, which has led me to strike an unlikely friendship with Alex Iwobi's dad. I live in Tottenham and had just collected my son Finn from football. He was wearing Alex Iwobi Fulham shirt. An old Yoruba fella came over and introduced himself. Uncle Larry, he called himself. Okay. He said he was mates with Iwobi's dad and he wanted to video call it to show him that a lad was wearing an Iwobi shirt in Tottenham. I have to admit, I was a bit worried at this point. It could have been anyone, but he called and we spoke to him. He looked exactly the same as Alex. We spoke about the highs and lows of Fulham season, tell me about it, and said I should take his number as he'd arranged for Finn to meet Alex. My mind was blown at this point, but didn't think much else of it. A great story, if nothing else. Since then, we've been messaging regularly. He loves Fulham, as does Alex. I got to take Finn to a rare evening game, Finn's 7, when we played Bristol City. He messaged us after and said he'd like to meet us outside and introduce us to Alex.
Okay.
After the game, we met him outside the Cottage and we were introduced to his family. Wonderful people. As the players came out after the game, they were ushered over for a photo to be taken with Finn by Alex's dad. They were all knackered, this is the players, but so kind to my little lad. Finn's photo of Alex was taken by Calvin. Come on, Calvin Bassey on photo duties.
That's so good.
He still quotes Alex saying his shirt was sick when Calvin pointed out that it was an Iwobi shirt. Again, an amazing story, but it gets better.
Okay.
Chucker has stayed in contact. Chuck, I should say, is Alex's dad. And we've touched base at games. His insight into the games, his absolute love for Marco and belief in this team is brilliant. Before Christmas, Chucker asked for my address. Over a number of weeks, a canvas pictures of us and the players arrived, signed programmes, photos, etc., culminating in Alex's signed match-worn shirt against Burnley. I'm starting to get jealous of
This is insane.
Alongside the team sheet for the day, Although clearly for me, Finn has stolen this, but it's just reinforced our adoration for the club and particular this current crop of players and the manager. Also, Alex Iwobi's match-worn shirt smells better than I do after a shower and a dose of aftershave. Yeah, but that's because he's liquid.
Well, yeah. He doesn't sweat as well. Doesn't sweat, that player.
No, he just drifts ball carrier. Last sentence.
Really?
I think, Dave goes on, you need to get Chuck Iwobi on the fix. He's great value. And good God, does he have good stories?
Yeah, I bet, honestly. And not only that, but I feel like we'd be still chatting to him, getting texts in about 40
Dave,
or 50 years.
I can just say, I love so much that you send that in. And there's something about that really does sum up an essence of Fulham Football Club as we are now and as we have been in the past.
Yeah.
And Alex hasn't been at Fulham that long, but it's just so nice to feel this sort of affinity and affection that the players that you sense they have actually do have.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think that's lovely. That's really lovely. And can I just say as well, when you know Iwobi and what he's like, and all the stuff he does for his community and for charity and everything like that, it makes sense. He's comes from good family.
Fans of Fix will also know that he did tell us on an episode last season that he still goes down to five-a-side in camouflage, which we actually, it's just because he loves playing football that much, which we got in trouble for. We spoke to Marco Silva because he's actually not allowed to do that.
Yeah, so sorry about that.
So we probably won't get another interview with Alex Iwobi anytime soon, but we might do with
maybe for his dad.
Alex Iwobi's dad. Anyway.
Get some signed shirt. We might be able to get something that smells like him sent our way.
Food for thought. So, this week on The Fix, we've got, as I mentioned, Steve Jaye will be coming up very soon, who has just masterminded Fulham winning another title.
Back-to-back promotions.
But also, we've got, firstly, Becky Stormer is a centre-back. She joined Fulham in 2018-19. She's the second highest capped active FFCW player and the third in the all-time rankings.
She has scored 22 goals with 8 assists in her time at Fulham.
7 goals and 1 assist this season.
Stella Gandee Morgan as well, midfielder with 57 appearances since joining in the 24-25 campaign.
27 goals, 19 assists.
10 goals and 7 assists this season.
She's been legend of the match in the last 2 games.
And won the Fulham Supporters Trust Rachel Yankee Trophy last season.
As if by magic, they're here now.
Becky, Stella, how are you guys doing? Congratulations once again. Obviously champions. It's been a couple of days now. I mean, have you guys stopped celebrating yet? Has it sunk in? How are you guys feeling?
I think, it took a couple of days to sink in because obviously we didn't know it was going to happen on Sunday for definite. But it's just been pretty cool the last few days, kind of getting used to the feeling of being champs again.
Come on, Fulham. Ivan was saying you went out that night all in same kit. Were you still wearing kit? Come on.
You went full kit, didn't you?
Full kit.
Full kit. We're talking because it was a Sunday game.
Yeah.
So what was open? Did you have to call ahead? Did you have to make some phone calls and go, who's open right now?
No, because I didn't think they were going to.
Yeah, the Temperance are always so good with us because they know us now and we always, not always go there, but when we win, like a big game, we go there and they were great and we normally get the space at the top. So we were there for a while in our full Fulham kit.
What was, obviously, Sunday's game? I don't think anyone was expecting it because Norwich have kind of, let's be honest, they've kind of gone almost toe-to-toe with you.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone was expecting them to drop points at Chatham Town. So I think they needed to draw for it to still be on, to still be going forward. And so were you guys aware that they were losing? But bear in mind, you went in... Go on.
Yeah, we had quite a... We didn't know. And then obviously, like you say, they've been kept toe-to-toe with us and they've only lost to us. So we were quite convinced, they'll either get a draw or win. And then as we were walking off at half time, one of our fans screamed, "It's 2-0 Norwich!" And we were like, "Oh God, no, don't." 2-0 to Chatham. But so we all went in and were like, let's just forget we heard that.
Yeah.
Would Steve not have said?
Steve didn't hear
Steve
it.
didn't hear
we were like, don't.
So he wouldn't have known.
Like when we ran past him at the end of the game, I'm pretty sure he didn't know we'd won the league.
Well, this is what was interesting is obviously because I get given a script and the whole thing that wasn't really mentioned. And so we got into the second half and it's only the guy next to me going, Norwich is still losing. There's only like 20 minutes to go. And I'm like, are we going to say anything? Yeah. Like, are we actually going to do anything? Because like they're about to be champions, And so like madly, there's all this stuff going backwards and forwards. And I'm like, they're going to get, okay, we're going to try and put something on the screen. And the whole time you're thinking, Norwich are going to get an equaliser. We're going to get this all planned. And then the 95th minute or whatever. And then it didn't happen. And so, like, when did you hear like the final whistle? did you know on the bench before I
There
said
was some
anything?
rubbish on the bench,
was
yeah.
there?
And we were trying to all stay calm.
Yeah.
And we were like, we can't react at all until you get some kind of update, and people refreshing.
Yeah.
And it's like full-time 2-1 Chatham. And that was literally 30 seconds before full-time here.
Right, yeah.
But on the pitch, I genuinely completely forgotten about it.
It was so
I don't know
funny.
why. I thought obviously it hurts.
It's because you're a pro.
No,
You're in the
no,
game,
it just
innit?
was like, because also being totally honest, like in that second half, we didn't play as well as we've been playing in the first half, and everyone was a bit like, oh, come on, let's like, we were 3-0 up. And then suddenly all the girls start running on, and it was like,
Their
crap,
faces were so
actually,
funny.
Yeah, it was amazing.
How have you found it this year in terms of the step up from last season? Were you expecting the quality of to go up more drastically, or has it been exactly as you guys imagined it? Because you can't, in your heart of hearts, I don't know, did you feel, no one would have said it, but were you imagining this season going the way it has?
I feel like the teams at the top of this league have definitely been like a bigger challenge for
Really,
us.
yeah.
But it's like, across the league, obviously, it's like there are different levels, and like it was the same last season. But in general, this season has been a lot more like, I think challenging and just like hard to,
Yeah. I think we always knew that the really hard thing was getting out of tier 5. Like it's such a trap, that league. It's so hard to get out just because you just need such a near perfect season.
Right.
And we managed to do it obviously last season. But I think there was a belief that if we get into tier 4, that we've got a good shot. And obviously we managed to. And I think what really helped is one of our earliest games was against Norwich here. Yeah. And we knew that they would be probably our biggest competition, and we won 4-2. And I personally definitely had that feeling after, like, okay, like we actually could give this a really good go. And then as the season went on and we've maintained such good consistency, like we've only drawn twice? Two.
Yeah.
So there's
Should we stay with those Norwich games, because the away Norwich game was a mad one, wasn't it? Like,
Remarkable.
people don't know
Such
what
an
happened then.
emotional day.
We won that game in the 90 plus 46 minutes.
which was very misleading and confused a lot of people on Twitter as to what
Yeah.
Yeah, so go on, maybe clear that one up for us. Like, that sounds like it was chaos.
Yeah, I mean, that was the biggest game. I would say that was the biggest game of the season. Leading
That's
into
the
it
one,
as
yeah.
well, we knew that this was
Yeah,
a massive one.
Because I
and
suppose
this
that
was
if they win there, then
Yeah.
you're chasing them for the rest of the season.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I can't even remember. They scored first. We equalised, and then it was 2-2, and we had a really sad injury to Jade, who's our vice captain, which paused the game, led to like ambulance coming on, and so we all went inside because it was enough that we needed to pause the game and make a decision actually as to whether we were going to play on, because there was a chance that we'd just abandon it, go back to it, and we kind of had to make this quite quick decision as to whether like how everyone was feeling, like everyone on the team.
Between the two teams as well, was it just for you?
It was mainly they put it kind of, we had the ability to pause it like if we wanted to.
Sure.
And so we asked everyone in the team a lot of like factors as to like would we
Including Jade, by the way. Or was this point she out for the count?
No,
She
she was still
With
in the
medical stuff.
Yeah.
And stuff,
But I think she was saying, "Go and win it, girls."
Yeah.
When we hear now, that's what she was saying.
I think she'd have been livid if we had.
In the movie adaptation
In the
of
movie
this,
adaptation,
she was like,
yeah.
"You do it for me," as the ambulance
Yeah.
pulls away. Yeah, sure.
But yeah, we were also like, God, we're gonna have to come back to Norwich if we don't, which is a long, like that's a stay over. It would just there was a whole.
You made that sound like a dig at Norwich there for a second.
No. Norwich is lovely, and the Norwich girls, fair play to them, are brilliant, and they were so good throughout the whole thing. They're a great club, but we were like, there's 10 minutes left. Let's just, or 10, 15 minutes.
And at that point, like the draw seemed like a win almost. I think so. We would have taken that for sure.
Yeah.
And then
what happened?
Go on, Stella. You were
Again, the movie continues here. Go on.
Yeah. And then we thought, we'll keep it 2-2 until the end of the game if possible. I think Layla had a crack at goal, went out for a corner, and then I took the corner, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Amazing, honestly.
Came through with the big header. It was amazing. It was probably the best. That was my favourite moment of the season, and honestly, not in great circumstance with JB, but in terms of like turning that game around, it was.
Yeah. We did it for her.
Yeah.
So you played those last 10 minutes, or did you play loads of added on? Yeah, you played those 10 minutes.
Yeah, there's like 10 minutes.
Plus
They just
a few added minutes.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
but I don't think the ref just didn't stop his clock, so it just carried on to be this really long game.
No, it was 46.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the ref stopped. I don't know if the ref sort of does that. We've had it once, I think, in the men's
strange,
game where there was like a lot of added on because of something happening in the crowd, I think, and it had a plus something. I think it was like plus 25 or something.
It just seemed a bit crazy to do that.
Yeah, it does.
Because we've not been playing football that whole
Yeah, we
time.
haven't been playing football.
One thing I was going to ask in that moment, because it is so long to then be not playing football for, what are you doing? Are you kicking it about? Are you still talking tactics? Are you staying warm? Are you kind of...
freezing. We're inside.
It was cold, we had to go
changing.
inside because of that. And that's when we were kind of making the decision, like, do we give it another shot or do we sack it off? But
Yeah.
yeah,
And then we came out and did like a warm-up and...
tried to just like refocus, which is
Yeah.
a crazy like
Yeah.
thing to try and do in that situation.
Particularly also because some of the girls had been like looking after JB and being like round her, so they were quite...
Genuinely traumatic.
The
Yeah,
emotion was
yeah.
so high. Yeah.
But glad we did it.
And then now what's very cool as well with the win and obviously being crowned champions, officially now it's 2 years unbeaten in the league, which is, I mean, how does that feel? Because that's insane in itself. What is it, 45 games unbeaten?
I think it's
over 100 and something weeks, and in the league. Like, how's that? And then also, knowing that you're up and champions, how are you going to sort of go into the last 2 games? I know you guys are professionals, and I think we had a very similar conversation this time last year, where it's like, how are you going to go into the last game as champions? Are you still going to have that drive to go unbeaten to win it? And you guys did. So what's it going to be like for these last 2 games? Obviously, you want to win here at the Cottage in front of the fans. You've got the trophy lift.
I think, we had that discussion at training yesterday. We had training yesterday, and said like there's more to achieve this year, which is to do 2 back-to-back seasons unbeaten, but also we're in the semi-final of a cup. I mean, I've been here 8 years now and we haven't won a cup, so that'd be amazing to go do that and get 2 trophies. So there's a big drive to finish the season strong and ultimately complete that 2 seasons invincible, which would be amazing.
Yeah, I feel like it would almost feel like the season's not completed properly if we don't like try and keep our standards for the rest of it,
Yeah, I totally hear that.
Yeah.
What are you expecting next season to be like in terms
Tough.
again?
Definitely
Is that
tough.
that's because everyone's saying that's the quality jump
That's
next
the big,
year, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
And we've had a lot of tests this season against a few tier 3 sides and like haven't got the results we wanted or felt like maybe we could have got.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that'll definitely be the challenge in terms of stepping up next season,
Yeah.
facing those teams.
Forgive me for not knowing, but would that be the highest level that you two personally have played at consistently? Because obviously we've had cup games where you've played.
Me personally, yeah.
But like,
same
yeah.
for me.
Yeah. There's some we've got some girls in our team who've played tier 3 and above.
Yeah.
But the majority of us will have not. So yeah, it'll be a massive test, like from a technical perspective, but also physical. But ultimately, like that's where we know we can compete. It's just going to be a matter of doing it on a more consistent basis and against better teams.
It's a cool collective challenge, actually, isn't it?
Definitely.
Just to see if you can,
Yeah.
Great, exciting.
Just to, then just go back to back to back.
Yeah.
Why not? Why
It's
not?
no big deal. You guys have done it once, you just do it again. Everything happens in 3s, right?
Yeah.
It's like Tagana mirror, isn't it?
It is a little bit, yeah. Just get you straight up to, WSL.
That's the plan.
A few years, amazing.
When we had Ellie on last year, she when we were winning back to back, she said she was singing in her head, "I love winning, 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 winning."
I'm not going to sing.
Do you know that song?
Yes,
We do know
we
that
do
song.
that.
So
We
just-
do not sing that song.
Do you like to sing a song?
No.
Out of interest, is she still singing a song? Is there a new song? Because you have
she
kept
sings
winning,
it.
winning, winning.
We actually have kept winning. That song.
That was the last season song, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
But it's a true song, to be fair. I mean,
It is
we've
a true
lived-
song.
We've lived and died by it.
And,
so-
and how do you rate the song quality-wise?
I think it's-
Number 1 in the charts.
Yeah. Oh, you think it's a good song?
Yeah,
You
love
think, listen,
it.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, catchy.
It was so because she seems like the most down to earth, sweetest thing. So it came out of her mouth like, "I love
Yeah, that's-
winning."
that-
Like,
that
it
is
just
Ellie.
seems so at odds with
Always
her.
humble, Trish.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trish is such. Yeah, she's a funny one.
Nice.
Great.
Listen, it's been really lovely having you guys on. We do have one more question. This is more just, I suppose, Jeff threw this out there. I think we need to sort of get to the bottom of it now. As a defender, you wear number 8. Is there a reason behind wearing number?
Wow.
No,
I started as a midfielder, and I've
You've kept that.
I've kept it, and I've been here long enough that I've not let anyone else have it.
You don't want to change it, do you? At
No,
this point,
that was just my, yeah.
It's
I do
not
feel a bit
traditional.
bad
It's
'cause
not a defender number.
It's not, but I started as centre mid, but then as you get older, you move back a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the only reason.
Are you very superstitious?
No, but I just feel like that's the number I've always
wouldn't
worn
change
for
it
them.
now.
And,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
no one's tried to bribe me yet to take
Okay.
it. So
Yeah.
I'm open to that. So.
Jeff, you satisfied with that, Jeff?
Jeff, you
I
have
do think that might be where it came from. When it's a squad number nerd.
Yeah. No, it does look a bit weird back there, but
For the benefit of people that couldn't hear down a microphone, Jeff has said he suspected as much. Great to have you. Good luck next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see you having another great season.
And I think we've got to give one more, because, plug before the game here at the cottage.
At the
Obviously, it's going to be
cottage.
so important.
12th of April, get down here, see
Yeah.
Fulham lift a trophy.
yeah, it'd be amazing.
Definitely.
Please come.
Get all your fans
It's
down.
a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. True. Come on, Fulham.
Come on, Fulham.
Thanks, guys.
So we've heard from the players now. Time to hear from the head coach himself.
I've actually, before you throw to it, I've just made everyone line up on the pitch at Craven Cottage and do a band-style photo.
Yeah.
So just when you see Steve now, just imagine yourself, him being a lead singer in a band, and
We'll try and flash it up. shall we,
Becky
Dan?
and Stella either side. The image might turn up now.
Yeah.
And here's Steve. Steve, welcome to Fulham Fix. Very good to have you, mate. Before we just get into it, obviously you had an amazing season. We were just talking off camera about the similarities in maybe being a musician and the thrill, and for the benefit of the time exactly now, Roy Hodgson has just become Bristol City manager at 78. Am I right in saying?
Yeah,
78?
that's it.
Talking about the addiction of football management. That's something that you really associate with. Do you have a sort of a connection to it, but it's quite hard to shake?
Yeah, I think there's a thrill and a rush that comes with what we get to do, and seeing a last minute goal go in that means you get to win the game, or winning the league title. There are very few things I think I've experienced in my life so far. I'm thankfully, I think, still a little bit younger to maybe experience some more, but there's very little things that I think can compare with it. And I think we described it, there'll be some similarities to performing on stage and performing in front of a crowd. And I think, the thrill and the rush is often what you want to keep aspiring to try and earn.
Did you have that last week when we won the title?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, obviously it was unexpected that we did it so early, so that came over me quite quickly. I wasn't really prepared for it, but yeah, definitely felt it last year and this year, the rush of not even a year's worth of work, longer than that.
Yeah.
Kind of just hits you, and you're flipping it, we've done something here.
That's totally it. It's the sense of in one moment, almost like a decade's worth of work being distilled in that moment, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think people will look at it as it's just a 12-month process, but for us, I mean, I've been fortunate to be here with the team for 8 years, but actually with the club 13, and it is that much amount of work that's kind of gone into it, plus also everybody else's time and years that they've put into it before as well.
Yeah. Because you've been with this team the entire 8 years and come through the foundation. So for Fulham fans that don't know, just talk us through your journey there and how that.
Yeah, I'll try and keep it light touch because it's quite long and lengthy. But yeah, I started at the foundation in 2013 and I've sort of worked in lots of different environments with the foundation and the community stuff that we used to do. Spent a lot of time working with our girls and boys performance development centres that we used to run. And alongside that, used to do a lot of academy work elsewhere in sort of a little bit AFC Wimbledon, and then our own academy too. And then the opportunity came to take on the women's team. It was very again a very small part of my week back then.
Right.
I think we did one session a week plus a match day, and it was part of the foundation's work. So kind of incorporated into my existing contract. And then the club after COVID made the commitment to wanting to really pursue the support of the programme, and that presented a full-time opportunity for myself. And obviously then 5 years now, I think we are down the journey since then. We're in a totally different place to when we started, which is obviously, really exciting. It's been an unbelievable journey, but it's kind of a little bit of a...
Incredible.
So did you start at the foundation as a coach? Were you coaching, or was that in mind, or is that something that you worked on while you were there?
So I like my education, my studying, I centred around coaching and did a degree in coaching in Cardiff, but came to the foundation with a coordinator role, ran after school club programs, right, and other things, and then sort of moved into the more development-based football, like I said, the Performance Centre Girls Development Centres. A lot of staff that were at the foundation at the time are still either working at the club or working at other men's teams, and again, I think great opportunity for me to share how unbelievable that time was. I've got Ali Malul, Andrew Watt, Tom Hounsell, Charlie Turnbull, Andrew Joslin, people who are like what he's now academy manager. Ali's working with Marco in the men's team. Like that was almost like our cohort of staff working together at the foundation, and now everyone's kind of gone off into these different coaching roles, which has been just unbelievable to see. So yeah, ultimately I started as a person running programs and then just coached alongside it.
And when the women's the opportunity to coach the women's team came up, how was it sold to you?
Well, at the time, the club was starting to consider how we invest a little bit more support and time into the program, and I think maybe through my experiences of supporting the boys side and the GDC, as I mentioned earlier, the college program, it felt like it fitted within my sort of management remit. So I owned some of the budget associated to that, supported that development, and then we had a sort of change in staff, and for the interim, I sort of took on the role. We were in quite a precarious position at the bottom of the division in Tier 5 at the time, and so we needed somebody just to step in to kind of like make sure the games were still played, and actually I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought I got some really great feedback from the group at the time, and
it was as simple as that, just to make sure logistically the games were even played.
Yeah, just to make sure that we didn't have a gap, basically.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoyed it for the sort of initial term. Managed to agree to continue to the end of the season. We stayed up in the division, which was number one priority.
Yeah. The Great Escape.
The Great Escape, yeah. and then, yeah, kind of from there, we kind of continued to build the programme, and I'd had conversations as to whether I could feasibly, within my existing contract, continue with the delivery of the team, because I think there was just something I got from the group, like all the way through the players that we've had, and I know they've changed, although actually some have still stayed with us for...
Well, Becky's been the same amount.
Becky, yeah, absolutely. And so we just had this like kind of rapport, I think, that I just felt like it was a really great project almost at the time, and now 8 years on we're still here. Was
there a plan in terms of like what you just achieved? Were you imagining that, or was it more of a year by year thing?
Yeah, you go into things like this and hope, right? I mean, if I'm super honest, like, you don't even know yourself if you're capable to deliver and support the group in the way they need to perform on the pitch each week. So the first few years is trying to figure that stuff out. Like, actually, am I actually the right fit? Am I good enough for what they need as much as the other way around? And then when the club started to put more time and investment into it, then and those opportunities became available. Like, we started to put strategies in place and plans in place, and we literally spoke earlier about the fact that we've had a 5-year plan since we started. I started full time in the role, and that 5-year plan was to be in Tier 3, which obviously was just achieved last week, which is a phenomenal feat. But plans don't always work out, but this one kind of has.
So interesting what you just said there, because it's just interesting because you so rarely hear it in men's management speak for football. But like, I don't know actually if I'm capable of this yet. We're going to do this thing together. So that must have it made me feel moved then, because it must have built a thing between you, or like, we don't know yet, let's see, rather than this kind of like there's a lot of shtick, isn't there, with management speak, but you're not really allowed to say something as exposed as that, because do you know what I mean? You have to sort of over exaggerate.
Yeah, it's probably the first time I've actually properly shared that now as well. Right, I think you have to go in with a persona of like, I know what I'm doing, and I know exactly what's going on. But I think anyone who has gone through what we've gone through would be it would be a bit bizarre to consider that you know what you're doing. Otherwise, I mean, maybe ultimately you might not have been working at that level at the time. You would maybe be working at a different standard. So no, I think my vulnerableness is something that I've been fairly open with a lot of people a lot of time, and I'm always open and willing to like be better and learn. And so actually, like, that was definitely where we were at back then 8 years ago.
And how is it as an environment to learn? I mean, obviously you're at Motspur Park. You're surrounded by people now that are sort of, moved into different areas of, the people that you've worked with and sort of grown up with, I suppose. Are you able to sort of tap in with them and sort of, get advice from certain other aspects of the club and things like that?
Yeah, like, I think those names I mentioned earlier have been fundamental throughout my whole career of like, how do I grow, how do I support myself, and they've been brilliant for them, for me, but also, and I don't even know how much they would know that, so this is a great opportunity to tell them. But like, like the staff that we have and the culture and environment across like the academy, the women's team in particular, has always been really strong, and we can connect a lot on different things and similar shared challenges, although we are working in very different worlds.
The girls were saying that next year's the big one in terms of that quality jump, and that every week it being a whole new challenge. And I guess you're probably reaching that point again where that sort of unknowing of like, okay, this is the next step that we're going to take as a group. Have you thought about that much? You know, like what that challenge, obviously it's very, very fresh, and we're hoping a lot of people join us 12th of April for the Leeds game. But he's already doing the mechanics. He must be like, okay, next.
Yeah, I mean, we have had the luxury of playing against teams in that division this year in cup competitions and with varying levels of performance and result-based success. So we've had an indication as to like what we might need to do. You are right, though, it is very fresh, and so like there's no concrete substantial plans, but the jump we would say is the biggest one that we would experience so far. Like last year when we were in Tier 5, even previously in Tier 5, when playing Tier 4 teams, we've always maybe had more success in terms of the results or the performances than maybe we've experienced playing against Tier 3 so far. But the jump from 5 to 4 didn't feel maybe as big until, well, we didn't know until we got into it really, but ultimately it hasn't panned out to be as big as we thought it might be. But pretty confident the jump from 4 to 3 will be
a big one.
Yeah, it will be much bigger.
You said it hasn't panned out. I mean, looking back now, it's remarkable, really, isn't it? I mean, obviously Tier 5 was a tough one to get out of, and you came close, you know, for a good couple of seasons, and it was, you know, you realised just how tight it was getting out. But to do back-to-backs, but then also to be unbeaten. I mean, there was, again, the girls saying you'd only drawn twice all season, but then to go, you know, what is it, 40? I said to you at full time, was it 2 years officially in the league now, unbeaten? I mean, that in itself, it must be quite a weird thing to be sort of leading the charge with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if we had set that out as an expectation, I think everyone would be like, that's quite a crazy thing to try and like go and be aspirational towards. But actually, we've gone and achieved that through a very structured approach of like, let's just take each week as it comes. Such a cliche thing, but last year we had a ladder, and this year we've got Mount Everest, and every week and every game is like another step on that journey. So last year's ladder was the first time we did it. It was every rung on the ladder. We want to turn from the wood colour that we had as the ladder to green if we win, and it was amber if we drew. We don't know what it would be if we lost. We're very fortunate. We've not seen that, but I'm sure it'd be something. Yeah, we got back down the ladder.
Can I ask visually how that's done? Is that has someone drawn it out? Is it literally almost? Are we talking arts and crafts style?
Yeah, we're talking me on a PowerPoint arts and crafts type style.
Nice.
Actually, this year I employed the use of AI to support me with creating a nice Mount Everest photo.
With every step, what happens?
Yeah, so
snow melts away.
Yeah, last year it was literally just us moving from one badge to another up the rungs of the ladder. This year, I'm sure the guys won't mind me mentioning, but we were over pre-season we were bought a Jellycat broccoli. If you know what Jellycats are, the toys, the children's toys. Yeah, we were bought a broccoli as part of pre-season.
They're massively overpriced children's toys, like massively overpriced. Offensively overpriced.
Yeah, so our director of safeguarding and inclusion bought us that while she came away with us for pre-season in Cardiff, and so we created the broccoli. Yeah. We put him on Mount Everest. So every single time we get to an ex-club badge, he travels, and I'm a bit slick with animations now on Keynote, so we move him along, and
nice. One step closer to Brock with every, is that what we're saying?
One step closer to the top of Mount Everest, yeah.
And because of Mount Everest, it will still be fresh when it comes. That's such a dad joke. As I started saying it, I'm like, what are you doing? Because it's frozen. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. Maybe cut that out. See how you feel on the day. I'm really sorry about that. Again, this sounds really stupid, and whether I regret asking it. Have you thought much about next year? I mean, you got to keep clearly that something's working there, broccoli-wise. I don't know if you're superstitious.
Yeah,
but you don't want to change the broccoli. You're unbeaten still.
Yeah.
You know, so you can maybe change from Everest.
Last year, thankfully, we can probably steer away from the broccoli.
Okay. Steer away from ideas maybe for next year?
Not yet, but I know we'll definitely dedicate some time to it. Only superstitions for me this year, and I know the players have been big on this with me, is I can't change my boots. I have got a new pair of boots, but I'm not allowed to wear them at match days at the moment.
Is that right?
Yeah, so I need to wear the ones that I've been wearing for the last 2 seasons. Yeah.
Okay. Are you not wearing them now?
I'm not wearing them now, no.
Okay.
Sorry, no.
Oh, yeah. Just a quick word on Ellie Olds, who was on the show last year when he last achieved promotion. She's recently become she's involved in the highest amount of goal involvements of any Fulham player.
Yeah.
Mad achievement. Just a quick word on Ellie. Like, we obviously loved her when even though Ivan slagged off her song. And other than that, we loved her when she came on, and obviously she's becoming a legendary.
She's brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, Trishy, as she's known to by us, has been here now for a long time as well. I think she's in around the 6-year mark, and she obviously achieved her 100 caps recently, and on our 101st game, which was here on Sunday. She surpassed the highest goal contributions and of goals and assists to 96. I mean, to have 96 goal contributions in 101 games is an incredible feat anyway. But I think the thing that's probably most impressive about Trishy is like the character and the way that she is within the group. She's often part of a very sort of core group of people that are kind of like the culture glue that we have. And again, where she's been here for such a long time, with a number of others, they've really driven like the look and the feel of the place. And I think that's something we often talk about as being really important for us. Like when new players come in, let's make it feel like a Fulham environment, and let's not add players from all these other environments and create a mix of theirs, because actually we know that maybe ours is quite strong and we're quite proud of it. Yeah. But Trishy's a fundamental part of that. So
yeah.
And it does seem like what is lovely. It does seem like a group of mates.
Yeah, I was going to say similar thing.
And it's, I mean, that must play such a big part in that kind of that togetherness, that closeness. You know, they really do seem like almost best mates playing. You know.
Yeah, and I think when you think about what I need from a coaching perspective is I need people to have connections on the pitch and understand what's going to happen next, and also how to pick each other up and actually support each other when things are going maybe a bit more difficult, and that's what mates kind of do, right? Good mates are like, we always talk about checking in with mates and making sure everyone's okay. Like you go through the ups and downs of being in a friendship, and I think they as a group, they do that phenomenally for each other. And even when we evolve the squad year on year, like the people coming, they adopt those similar roles that we have in the team, and they continue to push that culture the way that we want it to be, which is great.
As it grows inside, it kind of grows externally as well with games at the Cottage and that kind of thing. And Fulham obviously has like a rich heritage with the women's team, with Rachel Yankee and et cetera in the past. Is there like a feeling of what you'd like to achieve with the games at the Cottage? You know, can you imagine the Cottage 4 or the Riverside 4, that kind of thing? Like, is there a sort of picture of that in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, that would be an amazing step for us to get to. Actually, selfishly, from a coaching perspective, it's really hard when there's lots of people in there because no one can hear me. So,
always wondering about that.
We'll get you a megaphone.
We could do that. I might just nick your microphone on a match day and share coaching points. But no, the game.
I've never thought of that idea before.
I mean, that's what the players say to me. Maybe they just selectively turn off the hearing from me anyway. They say blame it on the crowd. But no, the growth of the game is a big part of our strategy as well. And like we want to see more people come in to support the players. I mean, they fundamentally, I personally think they deserve that. Like they. All the things we've talked about already, and also like the way that they actually do perform on a weekend is phenomenal. Given all the other things that they go and do as well, like they have a lot of them, or most of them, have full-time jobs.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, or they're in full-time education, and then they come and commit and dedicate so much time to playing football, and actually at a really, really good level, clearly, because they've just earned the whole club back-to-back promotions, and so there's definitely, from my view, it'd be amazing, the vision to have. Even if it's at one stand at a time, but more and more people coming and just celebrating what these incredible people do week in, week out.
Yeah. And Becky was saying that like after they celebrated, it was a Sunday the game, but she was at work the next day, like really hungover, kind of thing.
I won't comment on that bit, but
Sorry, like that works. No, she was drinking on adrenaline and energy. Hungover on. So kind of mad lives there. Because you were saying when you began, they were having one session in a game a week.
Yeah.
And now it's more than that, obviously.
Yeah. So the schedule now is that we train 3 times a week. So we even trained for less time on a night. So it was like an hour and a half, half a pitch on a Wednesday evening. And then we've now evolved that to we're Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're a few hours a week now, effectively. There's some games in our division that we've played this season, but certainly happens next year that we'll have more and more Saturdays where we'll need to go and travel and be overnight somewhere. And so, the programme from a time perspective has grown massively. And so,
will you train more, do you think, next season, obviously with the standard upping?
It's discussions that we're having around how do we support the group from where we are now to where we'd like to get to, and like obviously training more is part of that discussion, or even is it more time in the time that we're already spending together, or more different, like all sort of different aspects of like the delivery, more analysis, more gym, more physical. I'm sure the girls will love it, me saying more gym. That's the one thing I'm not sure they'd be really overly keen with. But those are the sorts of things that we're talking about at the moment. Because we're going to compete with players who are, and some teams are on the verge of full time.
Yeah, sure.
We will need to consider that at some stage.
I wanted to ask as well about signings. You know, how over signings are you? You know, have you got, you know, certain names that are brought to you? Are there players that you've seen, you know, play for other teams that you've got your eye on? I mean, you must have been watching certain games and thought, you know, she looks good. Do with a player like her, that sort of thing. Do you have that constantly going on, would you say?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, so I think I'm in a really fortunate position where I have a lot of sort of opportunity to bring in the players that we'd like to bring in. We have to do a lot of research collectively across the staff team, but from a decision perspective, I'm in a pretty good place of being able to do that myself at the moment. And we have to constantly be aware of what's going on, but like whether we act or not on that is obviously based on so many factors.
Sure, yeah, of course, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in the last couple of years, we've, I think, had a really good process of maybe little and often bringing players in. We haven't had a mass overhaul in the last 2 years, and I think that's actually helped with the consistency of the performances and the results, because we're just sprinkling in new players and it's not actually wholesale changes. So bringing players in the summer, but also in around January time, although we don't have those windows like in the sort of WSL. We do have like that in mind, that we might bring in players at certain points just to kind of give us a bit of a boost or continue to help us on the journey.
Mate, exciting times. And
really is.
Good luck. We won't keep you much longer, but good luck with your venture. And it is the feel-good Fulham story really at the moment, what you guys are achieving. So,
honestly,
like, congratulations, man. And hopefully next year we'll check in with you. And
well, back to back to back. I said to you
Back to
after
back to back.
the season's not even finished. I went, you can do back to back now, right?
no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. Yeah,
Sorry about that.
No, but thanks for having me. And yeah, I'll absolutely be great to come and connect with you guys again and talk about this sort of stuff.
Definitely.
Cole Fulham. Do you know what? I really enjoyed that a lot, speaking to all those guys. And like I said, Steve, at the end there, it really is the feel-good Fulham story of the moment with the women's team. And we want to get as many people down to the Luton game on 12th April at the Cottage as we possibly can. As Steve's alluded to there, he might be getting the mic off Ivan at any moment to be shouting instructions to players.
I'm happy to give it to Steve. And do you know what, actually, funnily enough, at one of the last games we did, and I was in the dugout that time, and I can't remember who it was, which player, but she sort of said, you know, if we score 4, can I announce the goal? And I ran past the guys in the media department, and they were like, yeah, go for it.
So what happens if we win 4-0 against Luton? Is that the same thing goes? Or?
Well, I don't know. I'll find her and see if she's still up for it. She was getting more and more worried the closer we got. Like, she started to look like very, very nervous. So, we'll see if that happens. Hey, see if that happens. Stay tuned. Right, who have we got next week?
Thank you for asking, Ivan. It's a true Fulham legend. If you are maybe in your 20s and you grew up watching Fulham for whatever reason, Kevin McDonald will be in, like, probably your favourite Fulham team. Part of that midfield trio of Tom Kearney, Stefan Johansson and Kevin McDonald. Obviously, there's lots of famous memories of him being on Wembley at a pitch when we beat Villa.
Definitely. And a man that can make scoring off his backside look good is a man that deserves to be a Fulham legend.
See you next time.